Hi everybody, it's Stacey Calder. Welcome to what are we on today? Thursday. Business Success Network and Magazine continue its lives with our sponsors. And this is I was just counting it up. So I was talking to my community leaders this morning, and this is our fifth one now. So we are getting right into a flow of meeting all those people that, well, without them, we just couldn't run the BSN Awards. So today's sponsor is the sponsor for business leader or stroke manager. And I think that's a really great category. I love this category because whether you are self-employed running a business, whether you're a decision maker, you still need those leadership skills. You are still managing yourself, your team, your time, all those kinds of things. So when I met Sean at a networking event, I was do you know what? He just got it. He understood why awards for small businesses were important. So when he said, "Yeah, send me the pack," I was over the moon because every time we have a conversation now, we chat for hours. I've reeled him in now. He's in my circle of influence, and we chat about all sorts of different things. So I'm going to bring him in because let's face it, you want to talk to Sean, not me. If you are watching this live, please do comment. Please do ask your questions. Hi, Sean.
Morning.
And if you're watching it on a replay, hashtag replay so that me and Sean can come back and answer those questions or anything if you haven't been able to catch this live. So, Sean, we met through One Networking, which is another sponsor.
We
This
did, yeah.
networking stuff works, doesn't it? Do you want to tell the audience, the people that are watching, a bit about you, your background? Because it is fascinating. Like I could listen to you all day, to be honest.
Yeah, I suppose it is quite fascinating. It's quirky without a shadow of a doubt. So, I'm Sean. I'm actually an occupational psychologist, so chartered occupational psychologist. But I actually began my working life as an army musician when I was 16 years old, and I quite enjoyed that and progressed. But I did quite a lot of work in the training environment. So I was very interested in the transfer of learning, how people could develop with coaching, with mentoring. And so rather than twiddle my thumbs in the evenings or anything like that, I decided that I was going to do a degree in psychology. Well, it actually started off as just wanting to attend college one night a week for a year or so. And that didn't last. I actually stuck it for 5 years and then graduated with a BSc honours in psychology, and then progressed from there to do the MSc in occupational psychology, and then did the doctoral qualification, which is the chartership. So whilst I was in the army, I also got lots of experience which relates to the psychology. And then got to a point where I decided, you know what, I want to do this full time outside of the uniform. And that's really what I did. So I took that plunge, and I pretty much work for myself and provide lots of services of psychology in the working environment.
And we got chatting because when you say psychology services, there are so many different avenues
Yeah,
and routes that we could go through. And we were just talking in the green room, if you like, backstage, whatever you want to call it. And I mentioned the Business Success Network for Disabled Entrepreneurs group. It's quite a new group. We have such a diverse community in there. And actually, so I was saying, I think this interview will be really of interest to those as well as everybody else watching, because you offer services around neurodiverse assessments and things like that as well, don't you? So
absolutely.
you've got such a broad spectrum of services, really, haven't you?
I have, and I think initially when I went into the world of occupational psychology, it was sort of like the leadership development that I looked at, and also the well-being and resilience. So the two go together. But when you actually think about what is a leader, oh gosh, it is such a vast subject with regards to that. And over time, I find myself, really focusing on certain areas, like you say. One of the things that I am absolutely passionate about is the equity, diversity in the working environment, so that everyone is allowed to maximize their performance irrespective of any challenges that they may have. And like you say, one of the areas that I did sort of slip into was neurodiversity. And it was actually a suggestion by my supervisor when I was carrying out the chartership, who she said, you've got the aptitude for the diagnostic assessments, because, you know, the reading of body language, the empathy, and all the different things, but also being able to focus for that amount of time to go through the assessment as well. And so I followed that path, and you know, always follow the heart, I think, is the best thing to do, you know, in any sort of business. And I just started to learn more and more about the dyslexia, dyspraxia, dyscalculia, and I now do the diagnostic assessments for that. But it's not just the assessment. That's the first part of it. It's what comes after. It's what can we do for this person to help them to be the best version of themselves. And that's where the coaching afterwards comes into that, and giving them that support. And so I suppose this relates to my other passion of leadership, in that I was a leader practitioner for quite a long time. I totally understand that when you've got a large group of people in front of you, whether that's 10, 20, 30, or even more, at whatever level you are as a leader, there's going to be diversity in the working environment. Simple and cut and dry as that. And it can sometimes be challenging for the leader to know where to focus, because we all can have our own bias. We can have, well, we've certainly got direction, because if we're working in the corporate world, you know, there's pressures on the leader to actually make profit. It could be a variety of things, or what is that output? But I'm very passionate about being able to individualize people, so that, like I say, we can be aware of what support they need. And yes, leadership is a difficult job, but it's also an honor and a pleasure and a privilege as well to be in that position.
And it's not something, it's not like, and I say this about our network all the time, it's not a one size fits all. And I talk about that when networking, you know, one networking company or one way of doing things isn't going to fit all. I'm really chuffed that Amanda's watching this. Amanda's one of our speakers at our Children's Activity Provider Conference. And that, you know, the leaders that you have in there, however, their leadership is very, very different to all of, you know, other leaderships. Like you said, you've got corporate, you've got all different things. Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you to all the sponsors. I'm excited about the event. There's lots of excitement coming from Amanda at the moment. Her leadership involves dancing to the stage, which I absolutely love. But, you know, you talked about your time in the army. So that leadership, those leadership roles are, you know, completely different to the corporate world. And yet there's still a lot of synergy in there, I would imagine. And when we spoke about sponsoring the awards and things like that, the minute I showed you the categories, you kind of zoomed in on this leadership management one, because it sat right with you straight away. And that's what I love about our sponsors, is they don't just say to me, oh, I'll sponsor a category, pick one. They all do it, and they all pick their category because it resonates with them. And you were straight on the ball. You were straight into that leadership management. So I think that's a really nice way of doing it. It makes you get visible. Have you had a chance to have a look at the finalists yet and see?
I haven't, not yet. No, I'm saving that for a while. I am going to have a look at it though, but I haven't yet. But I will dive into that.
So they were all announced a couple of Sundays ago.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, it was quick fire, and I have to say it was brilliant. But yeah, getting those scheduled posts out every 10, 15 minutes across 3 platforms that was a tough gig. I'll be honest. For any social media person out there, they'll understand that I was in a smoke coming out of the ears. But it was great, because obviously you went out. It was a real key time across the internet. I think we hit something like 100,000 timelines already.
Oh wow!
And your name is there. It's going out.
Brilliant.
Across we love doing that for the sponsors. But so what would you be looking for then, if you were a judge, which you're not? So this is a bit of a naughty question. What would you be looking for with the leaders finals then? Because I know some sponsors, they really like to kind of get in, start that networking, have those conversations. Others like to sit back and think, I'm so glad I'm not judging this. So what would you be looking for as a leader, as a manager of the year then?
Yeah, well, for me, certainly the leader, and like I say, having walked that walk, I know how challenging it is for people, and even the military leadership. There is lots of commonalities that transfer across into the corporate world about the temperament and that. So what I would be looking for is certainly someone who is an inclusive leader, someone who demonstrates those skills. They demonstrate that self-awareness. And also the emotional intelligence to actually balance against what's happening in front of them. So, really someone who is situational based. I think if someone is fixed into one leadership style, it doesn't work all of the time. We've got to take into account, the world that we live in, this volatile world. And that's where leadership really comes into its own. So I suppose going on to that is demonstrating the empathy and the compassion for the people within the working environment. And by empathy and compassion, I don't mean that's in a patronizing way that it tends to everyone's needs all of the time. It's balancing everything out to support them and just having that roundedness so that the organization is going in the right direction, but you've got the happy shipmates that are making it go in that direction, because that is what it's all about. There's plenty of room for everyone, and through that compassion and empathy, the targets, the goals can be achieved in quite an enjoyable journey. So that's the type of leader I'm looking at, certainly that empathy, that compassion, and that inclusivity.
Amazing. And let's talk a little bit about the awards night itself. What apart from, whatever it is, getting up, getting dressed, getting suited and booted, the whole dress to impress, black tie thing. Actually, we were speaking about David Crushall before we came online. He was the first person to message me about this whole black tie thing and what does that actually mean? And does he have to go full on James Bond, or, is it kind of a dress to impress? So yeah, that was quite an interesting conversation. So apart from all that, because we know that that's like all guys love to dress up, right, as James Bond. That's kind of a given.
They do.
What are you most looking forward to for the evening then?
Well, I am actually looking forward to the dressing up, and I've got shout out for Pam's poses, because Pam's actually sorted me out with a buttonhole for the night.
Oh, that's amazing!
And it's something that we're not only accustomed to for that.
Well, this is it, and it's not everybody gets the chance to dress up. Now, I'm going to give a shout out to Pam's poses, because last year at the awards, she and this is where the whole networking works again. I know I keep saying it, but I had not met Pam this time last year, and we were talking about centerpieces, we were talking about something different, and she contacted me and said, look, I do these flowers, these centerpieces, but they're not just flowers, they're soap. And I was like, what? And she created the most fantastic centerpieers for us.
She is fantastic. Yeah,
the point
absolutely.
Where the judges were pretty much sat there with one of them going, it's not soap. It's and they were like nibbling, and I'm like, no, don't do that. It is soap. And then, and then we auctioned them off for the charity at the end, and it was just beautiful to see. What an amazing business. And that's what I love about these awards, is that you get to meet
absolutely
and see.
Absolutely.
And rightly or wrongly, I always say, I don't tend to say no a lot. So if someone has a wild idea about centerpieces, or, you could create this, or you could have this on the stage, I'm a bit like, bring it along.
Why not? Why not?
Which I really should stop saying that, because it gets we've had teddy bear centerpieces, we've had branded t-shirt sort of centerpieces. It's weird and wonderful, but we do love it. So thank you for shouting out to her. I can't wait. I didn't know she did buttonholes as well.
Well, she doesn't, or she didn't, but we were actually talking, and she was talking about the meaning of color, and it was something that she mentioned about the color blue, which is peace, tranquility, calmness.
I was going to say confidence as well.
Absolutely. But I said to Pam, you know what? Wouldn't it be really nice if I could wear a blue buttonhole when I go out to work? Because not everyone wears a buttonhole nowadays. It's very sort of like, Victorian times, I suppose. Oh, absolutely. So why not? And if anyone says, why are you wearing a buttonhole? So, well, actually, it's a blue rose, and it's there to demonstrate the peace, tranquility, and calmness.
And it's a great, like, if you're out networking, you're at an event, like, and
Yeah,
it's a great conversation starter.
absolutely.
And it's a great
Absolutely.
visual reminder as well, because
Yeah. Yeah.
when you're trying to remember and you've only met yourself, so for instance, yourself once, and you're in a room full of 50 people, and
Hmm.
you're you know, someone you want to recommend you to somebody, you'll be like, hang on a minute, I can't think of his name. It was the guy with the
Yeah.
blue buttonhole. You know, you
Yeah.
could go and post it in that networking group, and everyone go, oh yeah, you're talking
Absolutely.
about Sean. Here's Sean's
Yeah.
details. So
But
it
there's
works.
also a psychological benefit as well from it for me as an individual, because if I'm wearing a buttonhole that emphasizes peace, tranquility, and calmness, all I have to do is just touch that buttonhole to enable myself to feel at peace, grounded. Yeah, exactly. So there are health benefits from actually wearing the blue buttonhole for me.
And that's really interesting, because most
Yeah.
of the time when I do a speaker gig, in fact, for the
Yeah. Yeah.
awards last year, it was the same. The colour that I most am likely to wear is a navy blue. And then,
Yeah.
you know, so my brand is very
Confidence.
pink look. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
would
Love
always have
it.
pink accessories and stuff. But I tend to wear blue because somebody had told me that is a confidence thing. So, you know,
Exactly.
before you go on stage and I'm in my Wonder Woman pose and I'm shoulders going back and all this,
All
I'll be in
works.
my blue dress or whatever. If it works,
Yeah.
it works. Oh, I
Yeah. Well,
love
if we're
this.
thinking good things, we think good things, it means that we can feel good and it means that we can do good. So it all works in a
Absolutely.
cycle.
I was not expecting to talk colours with you today, but I'm loving this. On
There we
Monday
go.
evening, actually, we've got
Uh-huh.
James Hutchinson coming in and doing a live, and he's going to
Oh,
be
lovely.
talking about awards, gentleman's style, because he says, you know, so many men either panic about this or they go, oh, I'll just, you know, it's a tux, it's
Chuck
fine.
it on.
And so
Yeah.
I bet I'm going to tag him in this in a minute. He'll be
Yeah,
loving
do
the
it.
fact that you've mentioned buttonholes. I love the fact that it's not a traditional one. It's a soap posy. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So you're looking forward to getting dressed up. We know that
Yeah.
you've been hijacked by some other attendees, some finalists,
Oh, yeah,
Dan and
absolutely.
Dave, who are
Yeah.
apparently the Anton Deck of digital, let's say.
They,
He
they
keeps
are
telling me that. He's really trying to sell himself
the
as
Anton
Anton
deck.
Deck. And you came out with a brilliant tagline for them earlier, which I'm not going to share. If they're watching, in fact, well, this is how they'll know if we'll know if they're watching. If you're
Mhm.
watching, Dan and Dave, you need to contact us, because honestly, Sean's done you a massive service here. The way he's just described you is the best tagline ever. So this is how we know if you've been watching, because you'll comment and you'll know.
That's it.
So people can find you at the awards. Obviously, you know, champagne reception. There's a bit of networking going on there as
Yeah,
ever.
yeah. Mhm.
And then obviously the main event, the awards. You'll be up on the stage presenting the award for
Definitely so.
leader, and it's, you know,
Yeah.
I love that stuff. Love seeing people get up on stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there another category, because you are a finalist as well, aren't you?
I am, yes, yes. So
Which
service provider of the year. Yeah.
Which is
So
a
I
really strong category as well. You know, there was some amazing
yeah,
entries.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, definitely so. And I think that's based on my well, certainly the diagnostics, the coaching that I've carried out this year has been, would say, challenging. You know, it's been very challenging, but by the feedback that I've got from some of the clients, I've evidently supported them and helped them in an extremely positive way. And you know, that that's what psychology is always about, and it's why I became a psychologist, was to help people. So, you know, to get that feedback and to be a finalist as a result of that is fantastic. You know, so if I win, superb. If I don't, I'm just still proud to be involved and to be, you know, part of that fine group of finalists. So, you
Oh,
know,
it's amazing.
it's
And
fantastic.
Service Provider of the Year was a new category for this year. We didn't
Mm,
know how it would, you know, we didn't know whether we were going to get 100 entries, 5
yeah,
entries. You just never know with new categories.
no, it's
It
right.
was
Yeah,
something that we wanted to bring in, because there are a lot of service providers out there that are not necessarily the face of a business, so to speak, but
yeah,
they are supplying products, services to other businesses. You know, my PA Anna, all the time I will shout out about her, because she is the, you know, she is my absolute right hand woman,
the unsung hero.
Oh, absolutely. Like, and I say it all
Yeah.
the time. And I say to her, you should have an award for putting up with me, amongst other things. And she says, oh God, no. She absolutely likes to be the one, you know, with the clipboard behind the stage, not in front of it. And from those conversations with her, that's why we came up with Service Provider of the Year. So I'm really glad to see you as a finalist. I'm really glad to see that it was such a category that wanted, you know, that really had a lot of nominations. So it's fun and it's exciting. So you're going to be at the award then, almost, I'm guessing, into, you know, you were talking about touching the calm, the kind of tranquility. You know, and we were talking about sponsorship, but actually, you know, as a finalist as well, you're going to have all that kind of the adrenaline going.
Lots of things happening.
Right mix, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely. But you know, I'm level with it all. Like I say, you know, I'm really looking forward to presenting the prize for the leadership award, and I'm also offering some coaching to the winner as well. So I'm hoping that relationship
finalist of the BSN Leader or Manager Award, and this is what I love, is that you'll get your, and then if you win, you'll get your award, you get your certificate, you get some stuff from BSN. But we always give the sponsors an opportunity to add in a prize. So if you're happy to, do you want to tell them what it is that you're giving?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm going to be providing some executive coaching for the leaders, so that we can, you know, explore the leadership even further, and look to, you know, push things even further and achieve more goals in that way. So some psychological support.
I love it. And we get such a variety of things. We've had, you know, afternoon tea at the Ritz from Linda Reynolds, who's a travel consultant. We've had we've got executive coaching from you. Anna Davidson the other day said she was going to give one of two of her programs away, which is all about becoming a best-selling Amazon seller or author, depending which journey you wanted to go. So lots and lots and lots of really brilliant ways that the sponsors are getting involved. And obviously for you as a sponsor, it's about visibility. It's about people finding you, recognizing you, networking in that room. You know, we've talked about you being a finalist as well, but I think you get this and you understand it. And actually you were probably one of the, like I said, we met not long ago, really, at a networking event. I did a little 10-minute presentation about awards, and I almost just could sit back, because you totally took everything I said on board, and you know, you were chatting to the other members of the group saying, this would be really good for you because this would be great for you because, and I thought, I don't need to sell this because
he's doing it for me.
But you know, you were talking about some real tips there. And I always say to people, your business will win even if you don't win, you know, and there is something about being in a room with 200 plus business owners that are supportive, they're fired up, they're there to grow their business, they're there to recognize everyone. And it sounds cheesy when I say the whole room will be, you know, clapping and patting you on the back. They genuinely will. So what was it then, when I did that little presentation, we talked about the award sponsorship, that made you say, actually, I get this, and this is why I want to be a part of it?
Yeah, well, I think there was multiple things. I think, first of all, you know, the manner of your presentation was extremely good as well. So, you know, it wasn't just me. It was part of that as well.
Can I have the tagline, young, fun and logical then?
Of course you can.
That one.
We can share. We can share.
So logical, maybe.
Oh, old! Come on! You're not old. Yeah. So, I mean, it was. I mean, your delivery, first of all, of the awards, but I think also it was something that I hadn't really thought about myself in the past, and the way that you presented it across, it was pretty much the, you know, not just the penny dropping, but it was a good old £2 coin, I think, that popped into the slot there, you know. So it was like, right. And that's what immediately, you know, and that's pretty much the way I work, you know. It's sort of that coaching mode, and whether it's background training or experience, I don't know. It's that reactive straight away. As soon as something comes in, it's like react to that.
Yeah, I think, isn't it? As
Yeah,
well?
absolutely. So it was everyone in the room. It was just, again, that thing, that's a good one. Let's work on this and let's build this into a plan. So that's why I was drawing people in the meeting and saying, you need to get stuck into this. You need to do this, well, sorry, it wasn't you need to, it was inviting people to, should they think about it in that way. So it wasn't as direct as that. But I could just see how people could benefit straight away from being involved. And a lot of people do sit back, and I'm absolutely guilty of this, that I just go on with my job. I meet my clients. I always tell my clients at the beginning of a session, whether it's coaching or whether it's doing a diagnostic assessment, that they are the most important thing to me for the next couple of hours or however long I'm with them. They are the most important thing to me, is to make sure that they get the best service and the best support. Always tell them that. And I just plod along through life and don't think anything of that. What your chat actually emphasized was, hang on a minute, there are people in this room that also plod along and don't say anything and get along with that, like Julie and like, those sort of people that I've engaged with, and they've been really supportive with little hints, tips, and a little nudge, hold to account and that, but just get on with things. And too many people just sit back and get on with it.
It's quite
and don't acknowledge.
It's quite a British thing, isn't it? We laugh and joke and say,
yeah.
We don't pat ourselves on the back because we feel like we're blowing our own trumpet. Now,
absolutely.
When you're in business, you've got to be visible. Nobody likes the word sales. It feels a bit dirty.
No.
But listen, there are ways that you can do it, and there are ways of being visible. And the great thing about BSN and the awards is it's not just here's some money, take my sponsor money, I'm going to get up on stage and present an award. This is absolutely, and I've said to you, I've said it to all the sponsors, I love our sponsorship pack. However, it's not a one size fits all. It's look, if a quarter page advert in a magazine doesn't work for you and you want to upgrade it to an article, let's do that. If you don't, if you can't be at the awards, and I've done this recently, to present an award, a category sponsor is not right for you. However, let's get your name out there and do something different. Maybe you're going to sponsor the entertainment or something like that. So it is all about how can we help you get really visible. Now, some people watching this might think, how is he a sponsor and a finalist? Well, we do have a few rules around that. And again, you will have heard me say this, is that you will notice that Sean is sponsoring business leader stroke manager, and he's a finalist in service provider. And I think one of the first things I said to Sean was, don't sponsor an award you want to enter yourself, because it does look a bit odd. You couldn't have a sponsor winning his own award. So
not at all.
That is the one kind of thing we do. However, as a really inclusive network, we know from the last 3 years that people will enter the awards. We invite them into our community. They suddenly see all the stuff that's going on, the magazine and the sponsorships and the takeover days and these kind of lives. And they go, oh, I want to be visible. I want next level. So I'm going to ask about the sponsorship. And we will never say no to that. So that is why sometimes we get finalists that are sponsors, and we get, like Nathan McQueen, who sponsored overall for the first year. He's back for the third year. He's been a finalist before. So it's all about that community coming together.
Absolutely.
And being as visible, not just inside our community, although we've got 9 now, Sean. So you are like, your face is going to be everywhere this morning. It's Murray, look, morning both. And she says, sometimes you just need the right person to give you encouragement. I'm sure she won't mind me saying that she, was very much sponsor and then was leaving it longer and longer to get that entry in. And she was one of the first to say to me, how come I can write other people's nominations for other awards? I'm great at copywriting. I write websites every day. Why is it harder when it's your own nomination?
You will
know the psychology of that. But
absolutely,
you know, it's personal, isn't it? It means stuff to you. And that's
Yeah,
why awards are a great way of being visible. They're fun,
definitely so.
but they mean something to people as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I wasn't going to say it. Katie absolutely was. She wasn't the latest in by any means, but there was a lot of deadline dances this year. Like 10 to midnight, I was still getting some. 20 past midnight, I was being asked why their form wouldn't, you know, go through. It closed at midnight. That's why.
There we go.
Don't be a deadline dancer, folks. There we are. I could talk to you all day, Sean. I really, really could.
Likewise, yeah.
Well, we do normally, don't we? We end up chatting about army. We end up chatting
It just
about
goes all over the place. Yeah,
it really does, and that's what I love.
yeah, yeah.
These conversations. Where, apart from the BSN group, obviously, where can people find you? What's the best place for them to contact you? And who is it that you know? Tell me the best referral we could give you, if you like. If somebody was thinking, do I need his services? Who would that be?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean that could be, it's quite a wide group actually. I mean, I'm available on LinkedIn, you know, so anyone can find me. It's Sean Riley, C-Cycle. You'll find me on there. But I'm also available, sorry, on the website as well. So www.pentapsychology.co.uk.
And we'll get you to
And
drop these links on this video as
absolutely,
well. And then
yeah,
that way they
definitely.
can just click the links and find you.
Just click on the links, and I offer a 30-minute initial consultation. That's totally free. So if anybody wants to have a chat, we can have a chat. And you know, if we want to chat more, we can also have another one as well. It doesn't really make any difference to me. But you know, I would say, you know, if I was to sum up what I do, it's to help organisational performance and increase job satisfaction for employees. So quite a broad sort of basis there. But I would say that my ideal referral would be, you know, an organisation that wants to support their employees to be the best version of themselves. You know, so whether that's carrying out the diagnostic assessments for dyslexia, dyspraxia, and dyscalculia, potential screenings for ADHD and autism in the workplace. Or they want to put in.
That's a really hot topic at the moment, isn't
Oh,
it?
absolutely, absolutely.
I've personally got so many friends now that
Mm-hmm.
are being diagnosed in their 40s that it's maybe
Yeah,
gone unnoticed, or they've masked it very
absolutely.
well. I don't know about
Yeah,
men, but I've heard that females tend to mask it very,
yeah,
very well in
definitely.
school. I
Mm-hmm.
know I've got a little one who's currently going through ADHD and autism assessments, so I get
Yeah.
it. But it's spoken about now a lot more than what it was certainly when I was a child.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And so I'm hearing lots about, you know, workplaces are picking it up.
Yeah.
People are kind of now kind of self-referring, saying
Mm-hmm.
there's something here, I think on this. And actually by
Yeah.
others doing that, they're giving others the kind of the encouragement to say, yeah, do it, go and
Yeah.
find it.
Absolutely.
I know one of our members, I won't share who because they might not want me to, but
Mm-hmm.
their daughter is currently going through autism screening. And from that journey, he's realized that he is autistic. And
Often the case.
he's
Yeah.
decided he's going to go through that as well now.
Yeah.
And it's just having those, I love it because they messaged and said, you know, we're having conversations as a family now that really, you know, the light switches are going on now. You know, why I do things, why
Yeah.
I can't understand why people don't just get on and do that, you know,
Uh-huh.
all those
Yeah.
kinds of things. So I think it's
Yeah.
definitely, like you say, there's
Oh,
more.
massively. Yeah. And so if an organization wants to have someone on hand that they can get in touch with to, you know, to support them, so that could be a medium-sized organization, a larger organization, if they want someone on hand that can be called in as a consultant to advise, to support the members of staff. It could be, you know, if there's promotions that are taking place and some form of screening, it might be the, you know, the reasonable adjustments, recommendations for that, or specific support. Then, you know, I'm the person for that, you know, and we can tailor things to the individuals, but it's all about maximizing the strengths of individuals. That's what we're looking at. And like you say, you know, people think in many different ways, but you know, once we can put things in place to actually take away the barriers, then you know, everyone can be happy. We can have that job satisfaction, and people can really maximize the potential. And that's what I'm here for, to support the organizations and to support the employees.
Brilliant. So referral wise, then, not just the kind of the management of those companies, although it would be rather than the employees, maybe HR departments that are looking for
absolutely
that sort of external,
the external.
They know it's needed, but they don't offer it. So brilliant.
Definitely so, yeah. And also, you know, not necessarily in the neurodiversity world as well. It's also that supportive coaching for non-neurodivergent individuals to be an external that might provide support to a board of directors, where it might be less appropriate to use internal coaches or something like that, is to go external in that way. So, you know, that can be done as well.
Fantastic. I just, I could, like I said, 35 minutes we've gone on, Sean.
Oh my gosh. Hey.
I could sit here for another 25 and longer. We've done it before where we've thought, hang on a minute, the Zoom links are going to run out now.
What's happened?
What's happened? We haven't even talked about, I think that was the initial one, wasn't it? We were going to talk about networking and sponsorship packages, and we talked about army, rugby, and God knows what else. So
we can get to business at some point. That's what I always say.
Yeah, and you know,
it's all about conversation.
It is. It all starts. Stephen Thomas used to say it all starts with a little conversation. In fact, I think he still does say that. But
absolutely.
It does. And as you get to know people, you get to trust them, and that's how business is done, isn't it?
Well, you know what? I would say that dialogue is much better than monologue. So, you know, and we have to get to that point, you know, where we're building on a conversation. It's a journey, it's a relationship, isn't it, for all of us?
It absolutely is. So if you want to go networking with Sean, give him a email, drop him a contact us. If you want to work with him, I highly recommend it. If you're looking for leadership kind of coaching and things like that, do head on over to Sean on LinkedIn or through our group. If you're not yet in our group, please head over on Facebook to Business Success Network UK. If you type it in, it will come up. You'll see this branding. You'll know it's us. There's a lot of chatter and a lot of engagement in at the moment, not just about awards, but a lot of it is about awards, because they're getting ready now. We're into awards season. It's not just our awards, you know. I had a judging interview this week. I was being judged, but do you know what? I can't sit here and tell people to enter awards if I don't do it myself. So a bit of that kind of do as I say and do as I do kind of thing going on there. So Katie Murray is saying bye, which means we've definitely spoken enough now, Sean. Thank you for joining us. I'm looking forward to getting a big hug on the 29th of June. I'm also looking to ching you my champagne glass and give you a big whoop as you get up on stage. Thank you for joining me today.
Absolute pleasure, Stacey. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's always a pleasure.